ค All right, here. What is going on?
How you doing, bro?
Diamond Dean in the house. Big Matt. Guys, we are so glad to have you guys back with us. It is another wonderful day. We are very, very excited to be here. And, hey, sharing some more opportunities with you guys to share some news. So if you run across us and you're kind of new, Big Matt, my buddy across the table here, Diamond Dean, we cover Cherokee County local sports and stuff, and we're excited to bring all this to you tonight. We're going to talk about local basketball. Had a classic over there I was at Spring Garden, and Sandrock boys and girls. They kind of flip-flop one the other. And we're going to talk about college basketball. We got a hot team going right now, probably number 4, we guess, but things may be changing.
Yeah.
We don't know.
They be moving up to 1.
Who's going to be that hottest team? We're going to talk about that. And, of course, we're going to talk about our college picks, transfers, kids coming in and out from Alabama and Auburn and Georgia, and kind of give you an idea of who's staying, who's going. You probably do. If you keep up with football pretty well, you probably have a good idea of who's going and who's staying. And then we'll finish out with NFL, just, kind of scores for the day. The Cowboys and stuff they're playing, and the 49ers are playing right now. And we'll have our new top 10. Our top 10, who we got way too early. 2022 season kicks off after the summer. Ours, we don't talk about it before. He gives me his and I do mine, and I'm looking at mine and I know his because he sends it to me. But some are there alike, and I have some in the top 10 that he don't, and that's the beauty of this. That's why we love to do it.
Yeah, that must make it fun. 23-7 still 49ers, not meaning to get on that fourth quarter. That will be considered an upset. But, Dallas could come back and win. They don't have a lot of time.
Well, we were just watching, and, you could see how the 49ers they're defensively, both of them, they're just getting after it. The Cowboys can't hardly move the ball. Just nothing is really going their way, Dave.
Of course, you know who it'll be blamed on. So.
Oh, you blame the quarterback. That's
I love blaming the quarterback and McCarthy.
Yeah. Wow, it's just like it's the same mic.
They'll blame Prescott and McCarthy, and then they'll talk about getting rid of them.
Let me make sure I got...
Moving on.
I'm looking at technical stuff here, sorry. I got a cramp.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You got a cramp, man down. Man down, got a cramp.
It wasn't a bad one, I just had to do that right quick.
I've had some bad ones.
No, I wasn't trying to imitate you there.
You got to get your tongue out. Roll your eyes back in your head.
I could just feel it coming on, so that's why I stretched out. It wasn't.
All right.
Stretch out.
All right, we've got everything lined up, Dean. Let's just jump right into. Somebody give me some feedback here on sound. Our color looks good. Video's behind a little bit. I'm doing technical stuff. I'm being producer Matt right now. Let me see if I can trying to get some information. It's hard to do a test and see what we got. I could go through a few steps, but I could ask somebody here. How is the sound? So what we're going to do, we'll talk about first, I guess, the Instant Classic over at Sandrock the other night. Local basketball, guys, let me run through this first before we get too far in. Our sponsors right now, you can see come up on the screen, the Smorgasburg and the Warrior Gym. The Smorgasburg is a close friend of mine, Brad Hunter and his wife, Brasha. They have reopened the old place over there, Dean, called...
That's a good spot.
It was the Cove. All right, and it's at the place over there, what us Cedar Bluffians, what we call Riverside.
Riverside, yeah.
So, now, the name fully intends on what it is. It is a full smorgasbord. I've eaten the meatloaf already. I've had the fried ravioli. We've had the chicken Alfredo, the spaghetti, the meatballs and stuff, guys. He uses lamb meat with it. Hamburgers, 30-day aged steaks, Gulf cut open shrimp, from pasta to steaks. I promise you, go see Brad and Brasha over there. The place was covered up their first night open, and Marcus is working over there right now while he's in school on the weekends, and he goes to school first part of the week. So go check our people out in the Course Warrior Gym. They've been with us forever and always. I was over there this morning doing a little preaching, and we'll move on from that. And we do appreciate them for what they do. So we'll just say, let's roll right into it, Dean. Since we've got all that out of the way, trying to find out some information. It's hard being producer / it's hard. All right. So their hours. Before we need to share that. People like to know when they're open. Now, this coming week, guys, the Smorgasbord over at Riverside, Thursdays 11 to 8, Friday 11 to 10, and Saturday also 11 to 10. Now, Sundays are going to be 11 to 4.
Okay.
Now, the next week it'll change around. There'll be 6 to 4 on Sundays and 6 to 10 on Saturdays. I think they're going to start doing a breakfast maybe in a week or two. Right. And Friday and Thursday will be 11 to 9 or 11 to 10. So, and they are in touch with Johnny Nyman for any older people that are watching. They will be doing the karaoke back out there again on Thursday nights.
I heard a rumor today that a Coosa Corner type of restaurant, same people, I guess, same type of food, was going to open up where Video Hut is.
Really? What kind of?
Cedar Bluff.
What kind of? Excuse me. What kind of food?
Just that same stuff. You know what they got at the Coosa Corner.
Oh.
Chicken breasts, roast, fried fish, and your vegetables.
So they're going to convert that place to a restaurant.
Right. It's going to be that type of food, like a deli type. Walk through, they'll get it for you. Which I love the Coosa Corner. So they would start to get up some good restaurants. You got KT Pho, you got Tony's, you'll have this. Got the Mexican place. Now you got the Smorgasbord, you say it was? So, of course, you got Subway. And so we're getting pretty good on the restaurants in the Bluff.
Yes, and we always refer to, back in the day, we'll say this before we move on, we need to get our sports stuff. The Fibbers, it was down there in town, right there close to school on the highway. It was always great.
Yeah, it was.
Always.
I liked it.
All right.
I never did really understand people coming from 100 miles away, but that's just because I lived right beside it.
It was high quality food, I promise you that. Dean, these games are always a classic. Me and you have shared a lot of these games, and I promise you this one was just the same as it always is. Friday night, Spring Garden Girls win 60-56.
Mm-hmm.
Neither Welsh has 31 for the night. She had a heck of a game.
2,000 points.
Yeah, the Spring Garden Girls, they were at a 20-point lead at one time with about 4 minutes left towards the end of the game, and
they had a 20-point lead with 4 minutes left?
They had a 20-point lead. At halftime, they stayed about 10 or 12 ahead most of the night. Now, Sandrock's Ballinger had 8 points, and she had 2 3-pointers with just a few minutes left. They start cutting into this man.
Uh-huh.
And St. Clair, Jacob's sister, and I know she's always referred to as Jacob's sister, which is probably not fair to her.
Right.
Because she can play. She's her own person, and she's a great basketball player.
Yeah.
And Garrett, Miss Garrett, she had 1,000-point stuff, and we went through. She was on
the very end. That's a volleyball player.
Yes, she's Miss Basketball. She's fantastic.
1,000 points?
I think so. I think I'd seen something about that.
I know she was like
some time back.
MVP of volleyball, right?
Yes, and between her and St. Clair towards the end there, they get the ball, and it's one of those moments the whole gym is standing up, and they both have 3-point opportunities to make the game, to get back in the game, to go ahead, and they both had misses on that, and it was one of those heartbreakers that you see.
Go ahead.
Yes.
They were down 20 with 4 minutes.
It was they cut back into it, and that's what I'm saying. The Ballinger girl had a bunch of points there. She had points, and they get back in this game after halftime and cut down in the score and just keep chopping and just keep working and working. It was amazing. It was an amazing game. Wound up being 60-56. I mean, you left holding your breath. I mean, we just, people just kept looking at each other like, wow. I mean, they had a big lead in the third quarter. They're 20 ahead, and in the fourth quarter when it starts, they're 20 ahead. So you think, well, this game's kind of over, and you see people moving and shuffling around. Yeah. Man, they come out and just started dropping threes on them and getting rebounds and moving the ball back down the court. And within that quarter at the end, they cut into it.
It's not like, and I'm not taking that. That's very impressive because that does not happen with Spring Garden much. They usually, and my hat's off to Sandrock there. They usually put the nail on in the coffin, and I'm sure they tried to. I just think Sandrock's very good.
Oh yeah, very senior loaded team. Coach Bates and the girls did a great job. Making a run at that to come back. Now for the boys. The Sandrock boys win this one. They beat Spring Garden. It starts out as with the Justice show. Justice he comes out and has 7 of the first 11 points of the game, and also in the first quarter he finishes up with 24 for the night. Dean, they win 62-42. St. Clair had 17 points, 7 assists, 4 steals, 4 rebounds. Cornejo even had 8. Bradley Jackson had 10 rebounds, and I had him he had at least 6 or 8 points because he would get some putbacks. He would get the ball and just put it right back up.
10 rebounds, good.
Oh yeah, for a big guy, I respect the big guy lineman down there getting rebounds.
Yeah.
Now Spring Garden, John Wells, little John, what we like to call him, go getter. He's a tiger. He just gets after it all night long. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 steals, and then Jacob, big brother, big tall, big Jacob, 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 steals with 2 blocks. Now Coop wound up with 9 points, and I think he had for like 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and he had a couple of blocks as well. So. Wow, that was a mouthful. It's just a great game.
Yeah, 31 points out of 2 twin freshmen. Wow.
And the sky's the limit for these guys. Other sports too. Like football, basketball. These boys are going to add for Coach Howard. Also on the green coming this coming season. Now tell us about Cedar Bluff took on.
Cedar Bluff beat Valley Head. 65-62. That was their second matchup of the year. Valley had won the first, but Cedar Bluff got this one. Had a pretty good lead, lost the lead, and we're down 5 going into the fourth, and ended up coming back and winning. Bucky Leak with 25 points, which that doesn't surprise us. He probably averages around 15 or 20. Connor Flint with 17. MJ Adams with 9, and Dylan Kennard added 8. So those 4 scored 59 of the 65 points. It's
good. They got a good team, and they've just they got to get it put together.
Yeah, that's a big win for them. I think they've won 6 or 7 now. I'm wanting to say their record's 7-10, 6-9, something of that nature. But they've lost to Skyline twice. They've had a tough schedule.
And Skyline's usually they're pretty good. They're always in Jacksonville. They're always pretty heavily daunted to be favored, right? Skyline. Usually.
Oh yeah, they're usually very good. They usually at least go to Jacksonville or go to the finals of Jacksonville.
Okay. Center. Now, I was, of course, there at the game Friday at Sandrock, and I'm bebopping back through to the concession to get a drink or something, and there's Jack Amos, and so I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure they had a game tonight. What's going on here? Well, they're supposed to play Asheville. They wound up canceling due to COVID. Something went down. So the boys are playing really good. That 4A Area 10 that they're in, they're 1-3 right now in Area 10, 7-7 overall, and they're playing good. They do have Coosa over here Tuesday night. If you want to go and check out the Warriors in action, I'll probably be over there.
Tommy Lewis is Coosa up in Georgia.
Yes,
okay.
I'll probably be over there Tuesday night. I'll go check them out. The only problem, they just can't get over that Jacksonville out of wall hump. They lost to Jacksonville by 87-57. Jacksonville's really good. They got 2 brothers that are just smoking, and Etowah, they lose a 1-point game, 65-64. I tried to get some info about the game because it sounds like it was a sure enough barn burner. And now the girls are 5-3. They're 2-0 in that Area 10. They beat Etowah 84-23. The next region game, they'll both play. Region games will be the 28th. They will play Etowah at Etowah. That will be their next region games. And that's kind of Cedar Bluff, Spring Garden, Sandrock played each other. So
I know Guilford played Victory Christian. Both boys and girls lost. But now I've not heard a lot. I saw Gilsville play in the tournament. Their boys played Etowah and played them very well. Very well. I think the final was 52-40. That's the last time I saw Gilsville play. But now Gilsville, things are looking bright for them. The Bradley boy, is it Cooper or Kyler?
Both.
Who's the youngest one? The youngest one's in the 8th grade. He can play.
Kyler, I think, is the younger.
Kyler. The one that's in the 8th grade.
I think Kyler's the youngest one.
And he's a good ball player.
Yeah, Timothy. Of course, we all know the stories with Timothy. Good gracious, man. He played over at Cedar Bluff. If y'all don't know,
long shooter.
Timothy could play, man. He was a good ball player. He always scored on that team. He played with. Didn't he play with Birdie and Amos?
Played with Josh Moten, Burles, and Amos. And well, I don't know if he played with Birdie. He might have a little bit.
I think Chris was a little older.
I think Chris was older, but I know he started with Johnny, and then one year he played with Madrick Long, Brandon Langley, and Josh Moten. It's a pretty good starting lineup.
BL,
they won 23 ball games.
Yeah.
Skyline put them out, which there's no shame in that. But that's who they got.
No.
You had, I don't know who the 5th starter was. I'm sure somebody watching the show does. But I know at one point, Madrick Long, Brandon Langley, Josh Moten, and Timothy Bradley all started on the same basketball team.
And that's
you got 2 of them that could jam it. You got one that played college football, and you got one that could shoot consistent 25-foot thrempointers. See?
That's who we were just talking about.
And they averaged a bunch of points a game, probably 80.
Skyline, I remember when I was in school in the 90s, they were always good. Skyline they just always had guys that could shoot the ball. I remember going over there and watching a guy. They were just always good.
Yeah, very good.
Dean, tell us about I'm going to drop some notes on you right here. We're going to go into the college basketball part, guys, for you basketball people. This is the lovely part of the show that you want to hear about. Now, let's see. Well, number one, as of yesterday, it would have been Baylor, but they lost to Oklahoma State 65-58. I watched part of the end of it there through some reviews, and it was a great game. Oklahoma State just outlasted them. I mean, Baylor just sometimes that happens. I mean, you just kind of come in and you don't play a fantastic game, and it just goes down that way. 2 is Gonzaga.
Yeah, and they got beat by Duke. Well, now that was last week, though.
Yeah. UCLA 3.
I don't doubt that. You know how UCLA played at the end of the year.
Auburn 4. USC was one of the only teams left undefeated. Now they are not undefeated. USC loses to Oregon 79-69. Arizona 6, Purdue 7. You got it too.
Oh gosh,
there's something going around there. Arizona 6, Purdue 7. Duke fell way off. They're way down at 8. Kansas 9, Michigan State 10. And right out of the top 10, you got Houston at 11, and then LSU at 14-1, number 12.
Is Kentucky not ranked?
And Tennessee 10-4 at 22, and Bama 11-4 at 24. So that's kind of your top.
Alabama probably fell out after yesterday. They got beat 78-76, Matt. Their 3rd straight, but they barely lost all of them. They lost to Mississippi State 78-76, Shackelford 17, Ellis 14, Darius Miles 14. They had a great comeback against Auburn the other night. I thought they were going to win that game, but Auburn ended up winning 81-77. Now, here's the big news, Matt, as far as scores. Kentucky beat Tennessee 107-79.
I seen that. That's That's pretty. I've seen that. That's pretty wild. Bama's got LSU Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
Okay.
And LSU too is also very good. But now listen to these stats here on Kentucky, Matt.
Give it to me.
Washington 28. Shabir Wheeler transferred from Georgia 21. Kellen Grady also a transfer 16. But now Kentucky was 38 for 56 from the field, 11 for 18 from 3. And 20 for 21.
Whoa. 20 for 21. Look at
So that is a total of 77 shots, Matt, and they made 58 of them.
20 for 21. Wow.
95% from the free throw line, 61% from 3 and 68% from 2-point range. That just wins. You win.
I'm just so confused by this mic. How can it be? I'm sorry. It's. I'm just gonna. It just don't make any sense because they're both running at the same. It's like they're not separate. It's like they're. I don't know. I'll have to do some tests in a minute or something.
Okay.
Oklahoma State, that was their third straight Big 12 games since Tuesday, I think. LSU has a big time recruitment. Marvin Allen, 6'3" shooting guard out of Calvary Christian Academy, Florida. And just for an SEC, for our notes for Georgia loses to Vanderbilt 73-66. Like we said, Bama will play LSU Wednesday. We'll see how that works. 24th ranked, tied.
Well, they're going to fall out of that.
Yeah.
They will not be ranked 20, but they can get right back in it. You know how basketball goes. They play 35 ball games. But I think Auburn might be number one. Huh?
Okay, yeah, let's get into that, Dean. All right. Maybe the hottest team in the land.
I think so. One loss.
Number 4, Auburn, 14-1.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting good road game crowds right now, Dean, because the home tickets are hard to get.
Right.
They had 2,000 fans in T-Town the other night.
Wow.
They have got a 12-game winning streak going on. Auburn versus Ole Miss Saturday. Looks like they won 80-71. Kessler had 20 points, 10 rebounds. Smith had 15, and Johnson, the other guy that's moved in, had 14. Now, they beat Bama 81-77.
Right, that was a good game.
This last postseason, they had a ban. They were on restrictions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the freshman, Jabari Smith, had 25 against Bama. Now, your North Carolina transfer, Dean, Walker Kessler, we just mentioned him. Then you got a Georgia transfer, K.D. Johnson. He averaging 13 a game. Zepp Jasper, he's a stable presence also. Then Wendell Green Jr. averaging 16 points up at Eastern Kentucky. Transfers down here at Auburn now. He's getting about 14 points a game off the bench.
Wow.
Kessler's getting about 8 blocks. Guys, the Tigers have pulled off a transfer miracle, is what I'm going to tell you. Green, Smith, and Johnson, they're just hard to get back on D. I mean, when you're trying to move the ball down the court, they turn, they get down the court, they put their heads down, and they play really great. They're 7th, Dean, in defensive efficiency, 19th in field goal percentage.
Right.
Auburn's really put it together. The turnovers went from 324th ranked last year to 91st.
Wow.
So the turnovers have went away. Cambridge and Williams both average about 7 a game. Now, Flanagan's is back from his Achilles surgery.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He had 10 points against LSU and against Bama.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you thinking about this team?
I think they're very tough. Now, will they get to go to the tournament? Or are they banned?
No, I think they served their restrictions last year.
Okay. I didn't know if they were still out. I think they could make some noise like they did a few years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago. You remember when they went to the Final Four and actually a lot of controversy on that last call of the game when he bumped that guy and they got 3 free throws and Virginia beat him. But I think they could make some noise. I think they could definitely be in the Elite 8 or Final 4 team. I mean, that team they had a couple years ago could have won it. I honestly believe that. I mean, Virginia went on and won that championship. But
yeah,
I don't know about this bunch. I've not watched them play a lot, but they are very good. But it sounds to me like they're just as good as they were 2 or 3 years ago.
Let's try this, Dean. Okay. All right. Trying to run this by, kind of see what we're sounding like, because I got some weird, and it is. I don't know what's going on. Give me just a second. Okay. Yeah, it is, man. It's like one mic. It's like one mic is both mics. I have no idea what's going on. If I unclick,
I'm confused. I'm illiterate when it comes to that stuff. So what do you mean?
I don't know how it's like when your bars are running, there's no way that my voice is getting picked up that loudly over there. It will some, like yours voice to be picked up here a little. but it's exactly the same on both. And I'm listening to the feedback in my ears here. So, all right, we'll just keep rolling.
Hold up, Matt. I got an update here.
All right. Auburn?
No. Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, okay, yeah, give us a score.
You're not going to believe it when I tell you, but...
They made a comeback.
Well, they're making one. 23-17 with 3.5 minutes left, and they fixing to get the ball back. 23-7 when the show started. So I'll keep an eye on that. That should be over. Well, there's 3 minutes left. What time is it? 6:27. It'll be over by 8 o'clock. So we should have an update by then. Yeah, they're fixing to get it back.
Now, what was the score again?
It was 23-7 to start the quarter.
Yes.
Now it's 23-17, and Dallas is fixing to get the ball back.
Well, there you go. That's why you hit the subscribe button. I'll give you my final thoughts on Auburn. With their depth, Dean, and with their defense, I could see them making, if they stay healthy, I don't see why they couldn't make a good run for it. Coach Pearl and the boys, they could win the SEC. I mean, I don't know probably
in the conference, yeah.
Why they couldn't. Now,
I don't think they will, but they could, yeah.
They're probably. Do you think they're the best team in the conference right now?
No, I think Kentucky is.
Now,
and I'm not being a homer. Kentucky has scored over 100 points twice this year, and they got the best rebounder in the country. I think they're the best team in the conference. I know they're not ranked.
Yeah, and the games that they're playing, I'm wondering if some of these games they're winning by big scores, who are they beating?
Well, they beat Tennessee, who was ranked by 30, and they beat North Carolina by 30.
Now Tennessee is
22nd.
22. They're 10-4. So, that's what I was going to get to. They got Kentucky next Saturday on CBS, so we're going to find out.
Yeah, we will find out.
Kentucky, you mentioned earlier, had beat Tennessee 107-79. Auburn will play Kansas the 29th.
That'll be a good one.
So that's why you hit the subscribe button, guys. You get your news here, and that's kind of all for.
Said everything sounds great.
Oh, really? So,
yes, for you to quit working.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm seeing these double. I don't know. You just have to be here. So that's when I'm kind of listening in my ear and seeing what's going on.
This is like what it just said. Everything sounds fantastic.
Great. Okay. Thank you for that, for easing in my mind. Now, that's kind of the end of college and high school basketball. And I'm going to go over here to the Spotify. Guys, we're fixing to cut y'all off. Hey, we got some breaking news here. Coach Hayes was talking about the game, the boys' close game versus Etowah, Dean.
Mm-hmm.
He said they played really well. They had an ice cold third quarter where they only shot 17% from 3 points and 25% for free throws. Ooh. So they have some good scores, and they just outplayed them in that third, basically. He said they had a good fourth, but it just wasn't enough because they had got too far behind in that third. So yeah. that kind of hurt them. That third, they had just didn't hit you free throws, missed a few threes, and Etowah. I'm not trying to just say this because they're our close team, and we cover Center, Sandrock, Spring Garden.
Right.
I like this Center team. Have you seen them play yet?
No.
We need to go see them play. We can go to well, you see, he coaches basketball, so it's hard to go.
I'm wanting to say.
Are you free Tuesday night?
Probably not.
So if you're free Tuesday, they play Etowah.
We're at Center.
Yes.
I might can make that. I'll just have to see.
Now, we could be out there by 7. We get out there by 7
mm-hmm.
and watch the game. So if you can, Dean, try to. I like this team, and what I'm trying to say is they play so good together.
Right.
If we're not to being together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And Caleb has kind of got this new thing, and he's got it figured out. And I think he's got the right kids in the right spot.
Right. He's got the right ones on the floor.
Yeah, but even when the guys that come off the bench and play for them,
mm-hmm.
they're good too. They're good bench players. They're just so right.
Give them some good minutes.
And they're right there. I mean, we're talking about a 1-point game with Etowah. Now, Jacksonville
must be something else.
They are on they're on something else, man. I don't know. So, all right, let's cut off the podcast for basketball, and then we're going to get into Bama, Auburn, Georgia transfers and those kind of things. All right, thank you, Spotify. We appreciate it, Applecast, and we will check y'all later. If you want the other part of the show, the football, click on over there. We appreciate it. Warrior Gym and the Smorgasbord Cafe. Brad and Brasha, go over there and check them out. Thank you. And we will save that. That'll be local.
I'm going to put this Dallas score again. They
Yeah,
have the ball back.
Yeah.
With 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the San Francisco 46. So, if they drive down and get a score and kick the extra point, they would probably win 24-23. I'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I do. I almost brought the TV, and I thought when you got here, I thought this game's gonna be good. I started to set the TV up there and plug it up and just let it play, and we could glance up there. All right, let's go back. All right, Applecast, Spotify, our podcast people, we're fixing to kick it off right here for our college football and some NFL stuff, and we're giving live updates. What was the score?
23-17.
23-17, 49ers are still up on Dallas. Dallas is trying to make a comeback at it. So, that's where we're at.
2-minute warning. Dallas has the ball. They got 53 yards to go.
There you go. That's why you hit the subscribe button. All right, Dean, tell us about what you guys transfers, or what have you been reading about, or what's kind of bothering you about some of this? Let's just
everything bothers me.
Let's just break it down.
Just freaking make them sit out a year. Stop it. That's the end of it. Just sit them out a year. But that's just too easy. But the main one that bothers me is obviously Caleb Williams, Oklahoma, and you said today that you'd heard that he still hasn't settled anywhere, right?
From what?
Caleb Williams.
Yes, from what I know, as prescribed by Josh Pate, 24/7 Sports, which I hold a lot of respect for, he's been seen in L.A. He's seen it at some Laker games, so he's being groomed and crooned and taken to dinner and doing all the right things.
Yeah.
So it looks like he may be interested in going out there to USC, play with his old coach, but there's no official word yet.
Well, this has to stop. I mean, let's face it. And just sit them out a year. It's simple. Okay, you can transfer, but you got to sit out a year. Now, what we were talking about earlier was a little off. I told Matt they need to re-examine the cases. And if you're starting on an 11-2 football team and you took the Heisman Trophy candidate spot, you shouldn't be able to transfer and just play somewhere else the next year. You're not a candidate for a straight-up transfer. But the easiest thing to do is just make them all sit out a year.
We would like to see something. We would like to see something to be done about it. That would be a perfect opportunity for somebody like I think Nick Saban would be a great candidate for somebody to be a commissioner. Let's have a commissioner.
I wonder what he thinks about it. Which a lot of people are going to end up prospering.
Well, from just kind of piecing together from what old St. Nick says, I suspect because he is a player's coach,
right,
and because he's a player's coach, he's going to be in favor for doing what the kid, kind of like Calipari. It seems kind of that way. Whatever it is, he's going to be in favor of doing whatever's best for the kid.
I just don't see how that's best for a kid to just go wherever they want, whenever they want.
You can't let them move around everywhere. Now, me and Dean was talking about before the show. Now, there are situations where, say a kid like Sanders comes to Bama and he feels like he's going to be the guy and get to start. And when you get there, well, there's not a lot of competition there, and you're like, well, I'm going to be the guy and I'm going to get to start, and that's going to be me. Well, after you play a little while and go through practice, you wind up not being the guy.
Yeah,
and somebody takes your place.
I understand that, and that happens.
But I mean,
why are you going to a school when they're having 4 and 5 5-stars in your same position coming there? Look,
to get a ring, be part of a national championship team.
That's
basically about it.
I would rather just play.
Well, some kids just they like the hardware. Well, and two,
Whatever.
but if you're going to play, which me and you don't know anything about, me or you don't, playing football for a living, they know that being there gives them an opportunity to go play football for a living. And being,
Yeah, but they have to be able to play.
and yes, and coming from Alabama, if you're a first or second team guy, you could probably make a living in doing some of that. And two, like I just said, also, some people just want the rings, Dean. They just like the bling.
Well, now, I have to admit, you're right. I've heard about this for years. Not with players, but with coaches. And I've heard this, obviously, I'm not going to say any names, but I've been told by other coaches for years that he's just in it for the clothes.
And who's in it just for clothes?
Coaches. Several coaches. Was he a good coach? No, not really. He was just in it for the hardware. I just can't imagine a 19-year-old kid.
Keep going.
I just can't imagine a 19-year-old kid caring more about getting a ring than actually playing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's weird to me.
To
me, that's weird.
To us, it seems that way, but some kids, man,
I would rather have a ring than play.
yeah. Now, talking about rings and kids that do have rings, we can talk about some players that are leaving Alabama. Now, this is as far as we know. Guys, this changes so much.
Hold on. We got breaking news.
Okay.
Dallas just turned the ball over with 1:38. San Francisco has the ball. Dallas will get it back, but with not much time.
There you go. What's the score now then? Same?
23-17.
Okay. Right out of the gate, we'll just do, I'll start here. Shane Lee, Dean, linebacker. I really enjoyed him being at Bama, 3-year guy. Still got another year left to play. He's leaving. Moody, another linebacker, 4-year guy. I guess he's got another year left.
He's good. Moody's good. Dallas Turner's coming on too, which they don't have nothing to do with them.
Javon Baker, 2-year guy, wide receiver. He's gone. Billingsley will be at Texas. You heard it here first. Billingsley will be at Texas.
Well, I expected him to move out because Saban, he just didn't seem to be high on Saban's list anymore.
Well, didn't they throw the ball, the first ball of the game, didn't he go to him?
Well, I mean, he still got it thrown to him some, but earlier in the year, he's got some makeup work to do.
Offensive line, Tommy Brown, don't know. I mean,
And let's face it, as far as going back to Billingsley, Cameron Latou come on pretty good.
and he's coming back.
Yes.
And Drew Sanders, we just talked about him before.
Kind of a shocker, too.
He goes back home, outside linebacker, Drew Sanders, 2-year guy, got 2 years left to play. He's from Texas. We covered him recruiting. I remember sitting at your kitchen table doing a podcast.
Right.
And we were high on him, man.
Yeah, he had 33 tackles.
He come in as an athlete, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Just a straight up. He's a good player. King Matuta, another outside linebacker. Hadn't heard much of him. He's moving on. Don't know where yet. Paul Tyson, you heard it here first. He will be moving on to Arizona State. Out
And
there
you
to
can't
play.
blame him. Now, a case like that, I can't blame him.
He's not. He has no chance to play.
I wouldn't think
Because-
unless Young was to get hurt.
A backup quarterback. Right, Dean said his only chances to play is just if Bryce breaks his leg.
Yeah, which
or
is
something.
good, but you
Yeah.
hope not. And I'm sure Tyson hopes not. You don't want to be rooting for the guy in front of you to go get hurt.
No. Now drafts, Dean, there's some guys leaving Alabama that are going to get paid. Evan Neal will be getting paid. Receiver Williams,
Yeah.
ACL injury, getting paid. Michie will be getting paid. Bolden, Job, Mathis, defensive lineman, and our cornerback, Lamar Davis, he will be getting paid too. Now coming back, now this is again. Let me reify this. This just as of right now. Dude, this stuff can change. You can go over my Twitter page at Big Matt 1977. This stuff changes by the minute.
Hey,
Somebody else may come up.
Maybe Alabama.
He's not DJ Dale. He ain't coming back. He's going to Tennessee.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen. So Toa coming back. DJ
Elms and Battle coming.
DJ Dale, big defensive lineman. He's going to be a great part of the Helms battle. And Brian Young, defensive lineman, and one of the guards, Ikora, and of course your tight end Latu. He will be returning also.
I think their defense will be fantastic.
They should be.
Secondary with Helms, Battle, Ricks, and Kool-Aid in the secondary. That'll be your 4 starters more than likely. You also got Branch back. That defensive secondary is loaded. I mean, they could roll in 5 or 6 of those guys.
Well, the national championship game. Mm-hmm. Now it was. Well, we really hadn't talked about the game.
Yeah, we can go into it. Right, hold on, let me talk about Georgia right quick. We'll get into it.
Yeah, since you're talking about Georgia, go ahead.
All right, Georgia players, they're losing for sure. That are moving on. I'm talking about just their foregoing their senior year would be Nakobe Dean, Lewis Sine, who was the MVP of the championship game, James Cook, Zamir White, George Pickens, and they also losing 2 linemen. That's a lot to lose.
Yeah, they had
a lot to lose.
9 seniors on defense and 6 on offense.
You said something about Georgia repeating. I wouldn't think they would have any chance to repeat. But they did win it the other night. But, I mean, it just depends on what happens with this transfer portal. Who knows? They may have a bunch of studs come in.
Yeah, you just don't know.
But losing their backfield and Dean and Sine and the lineman, Pickens, it's your best receiver. Well, Bowers is probably your best receiver. He can't go anywhere yet. No, I don't think they'll be as good, of course, but we'll go over our top 10 in a little bit. But what do you think about the game the other night? It was a
field goal.
Classic, wasn't it?
It was a field goal game, and it ended up being a 5-point game. Now, it got away from Bryce throws a pick 6 down there, but basically
a touchdown game, yeah.
Yes, that's about, and I got it wrote down. This is kind of what we did before the game. We figured on Bama scoring a little more. We had 35-31 Georgia, and that's just kind of this is just proof. Y'all watched us make this bracket.
Yeah, and that's what they had to score to win.
Yes, we had Georgia winning 35-31. Now, Alabama didn't make it to 31, so let's talk about why did they not make it 31? Well, Kirby changed the defensive line scheme up.
I thought the defense played very good for Georgia.
Different team. Completely different team. Davis comes out, he plays most of the game, and he is just getting after it. He is owning the offensive line up front. Now, Bama has right guards and right tackles moved, so they kept pressing, you remember, that right side of our line.
Right.
And they knew where the weakness was. So they would run right at that right side to Bryce's right, which had been Georgia's left. They blitzed that side all night long. And Bryce made a decision that he was not going to step up to left in the pocket to make a throw down the field. He decided, I'm going to roll out right into the cut pressure all night long. So the keys takeaways from the game.
It was a good game plan.
One, hats off to Georgia for having a good game plan, and Kirby coming out and saying, hey, that's not going to happen again. We're going to change that.
Right.
And hats off to CN, which is he's leaving too.
Wow.
He played a fantastic game, which not taking that away from Dean, but he played a fantastic game too.
Right.
And the things that we said needed to happen, pick 6, it happened. A fumble on the play, a takeaway, Dean up the sideline. We predicted it in our Nostradamus that we do. Joey the Fish moments. We're going to Vegas. That happened too. So those weird things that needed to happen did happen, and they block a kick too.
Yes, they did block a kick.
All the things that we said. Here's the only way that Georgia beats Bama would be if these things happen. And we couldn't predict losing their best receiver in the nation going out in the second quarter. He had 4 catches for 65 yards. So he could have been on track to have 10 catches for 100.5.
Yeah. Yeah, it hurt. Well, I mean, it just didn't have to defend as hard.
That now changes the game to where when you don't have a deep ball threat, now you're putting in these freshmen. Well, it changes the game plan of what plays you're going to do. So Alabama tries to do what we usually do, and that's run the ball. However, we do not have an elite running back. We do not have a Cook, White, 2-headed monster running back like Georgia has.
Sanders is okay. Robinson's good, but Sanders Cook and White combined are better than Sanders and
absolutely
Robinson.
And
I thought Robinson played fantastic.
For me, it's 5-star to 3-star difference. Them two combine those two. Cook and White are 5 stars together, and Robinson and Sanders are 2 or 3 stars together. Bama can't run the ball. They don't have elite tailbacks anymore. They just don't.
30 yards.
They just don't. They're just not there. They hadn't really all year. Their game plan has always been throw the ball down the field to Meachie or Williams, like last year.
Yeah.
Don't worry about playing great defense. You really don't have to because we're going to score 40.
Right.
That's how Bama's been playing, probably since Jalen's been there. So those are my takeaways now. I'll go on the Georgia side, then I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay.
Georgia side, what I just said, Cook and White, they really cooked it up. They come out after halftime. Georgia said what we said. And I said at halftime, I said, Georgia's going to have to start running the ball to pull away in this game to set up the play action, the throws down the field. That's what they did. They come out and run the ball. They bust a big 60-yard run. Was it Cook?
That was really the turning point.
Was it Cook that had the big run?
Cook.
He has the big run, and Dean predicted him to have a good game and catch some out of the backfield, and he did.
Right.
He did.
I mostly predicted him to be. He did good, but not in the way I predicted. I thought he might hurt us
catching the ball.
But he has a 67-yard run.
Well, now here's the thing. Bama just was trash. They just couldn't stop the run. The Georgia Bulldog just kind of run that down. They run all over them. Well, let me tell you, when you take away that 60-yard run, Georgia averaged, I think, 2.5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
With that big run, they averaged about 4 yards or 4.5 yards a carry. So that's not true. I'm sorry. I mean, Georgia.
Well, Georgia didn't just.
Georgia won.
They ran good when they had to.
They won the game.
Yeah.
And they deserved to win the game. They were the better team that night. Mm-hmm. That one big play, you have to take in consideration and be realistic. Now.
Well, Georgia rushed for 150, 140 yards.
Just enough to keep them honest.
67.
Now I'm going to move to Stetson Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
He did a good job at controlling the game.
He did.
He didn't start out good. He fumbles the ball and it bounces back in his hand. They got lucky there.
Right.
And he just did enough to win the game. And he let his coaches do the work and let his defense win them the game. That's that. I mean, and people kind of got offended. I've been on Facebook talking to people about that and kind of said that. And people kind of take offense that I'm saying Georgia won because of their defense. Why? Dude, do you know how many years Kirby Smart's defense won national championships at Alabama? How many years?
Alabama had to kick 4 field goals.
How many times, Dean, did Alabama's defense win games when Kirby was at Alabama?
12, 9.
All those games. We're talking about Texas, the LSU games, all those games, the national championship games come from the hands of Kirby Smart, and that's what Georgia looks like. Guess what? Who's the coach at Georgia? Kirby Smart. That's why it looks like an old Alabama team, because that's what they do. They play defense. They run the ball somewhat to keep you honest, but they're going to hit you with a play action. And Stetson Bennett made 4 fantastic throws.
He did.
All he needed to do, he throwed up a 50-50 ball against some freshman corners, and the ball went both ways. They were covered well, and the boys Pickens made that big catch down the middle of the field.
That was a great play.
Fantastic catch. They throw up 50-50 balls. He's
one in the end zone
different.
Covered good.
Yes, he was all over him like a full blanket on a half bed. That's it.
And I think the takeaway from the game was obviously Cook and White's running. They were able to make some good runs late.
Yeah, that's after halftime they come out and said, we're going to run the ball now.
Well, see, he had a 67-yard run in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, when Georgia was up 19-18, Cook had 40 yards on that drive. Just, getting 4 here, then 4 here, then 4 here. He ran hard. But I think the big takeaway I have, and I'll give this, was Monken on that one drive where he just said, to heck with it. Bennett's going to throw deep every play.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
he worked.
You can see the weakness.
Because you had a pass interference. You had a big play. He completed 1 on the first down, gained about 15. Then they had the deep ball down the field, interference. And then he chunks it to the end zone, touchdown. Very aggressive drive. And to me, that was just a big drive.
Job, There's the presence of a leader out there put him in a bad spot, and
he took advantage.
Georgia recognized it, like as well as when Alabama recognized weaknesses on Notre Dame when they had Te'o, supposed to have been the greatest thing coming since.
Right, he ran right at him.
And he run right at him, and Eddie Lacy made him look like a joke. And
Te'o played in the pros for a while.
And Colt McCoy, Texas game, he comes out. Well, they put in new quarterbacks, so they get after him.
They got after
the game changer in the Rose Bowl is Eric Anders blindsiding the guy and knocking the ball out of his hand. That was the game changer in that game because he took advantage of a young quarterback situation.
That's what Monken did on that guy.
So congratulations, Georgia. They had their little parade thing, I think, today. They put up their flag for 2021 champs, and it's something that's been coming for a long time. Now,
I've expected them to win one.
Here's a question.
Year in the next. I've been saying that since 17. I figure the next 10 years they win one.
Can they repeat? They've got the recruiting classes. Kirby's been 1, 2, 3, 6 1 year, so he's they got the kids in there. I don't think they can repeat.
I think they lost too much power.
No, Auburn. So we're moving from the title game. So the last thing, we congratulate them on a good win.
Congratulations.
I mean, it was. And
if Alabama can't win it, I'm proud to see you.
Absolutely. Kirby, hey, more power to him.
Right.
And Mitchell.
I like the Georgia players. I like Zamir White, N'Kobe did.
Well, he was high on him. I mean, we watched him come out of high school. We've talked about them for years.
I was wrong. I didn't think he could beat Alabama. But he did a good job.
He had his 4 big plays. Now, if Michie and Williams plays, and this is not fair, he shouldn't play that card. Well, but we can't play the if game. Yeah, if they play the 2 best receivers in the nation, we don't know.
But that's
the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
And to have a banged up young team that Todd, and if guys, you can go back, podcast people, go back. In the summer, we had Georgia playing for the national championship, not Alabama. We did not have Alabama winning the conference because we knew with the coaches and the kids that had left, there's no way Bama makes it in. There's no way. So
Young ended up being a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, me too. He had some sputters to the time. Now
I had no idea about Jamison Williams.
No, gosh, he just come. Nobody knew he transfers in from Ohio State.
I got that Ohio State transfer, and I'm like, so.
Well, I don't know who he is. Turned out to be great.
Yeah.
So, see how Georgia does. And talking about Georgia, their offensive foe here, across state lines, the oldest game in the South, Dean. Transfers football, they have a guy coming now, 4-star wide receiver from Tennessee, Cayman Marley, supposed to be showing up a good wide receiver for them. Now leaving, they got Manning, he's going to Kentucky, Caleb Jones, defensive end, Amari Harvey, 4-star safety. Now Cannon, he's going to Purdue, the wide receiver. Shivers has gone to Indiana.
Shivers went to Indiana.
And their tensions.
Checking this.
You remember Tenson?
Hold up, guys. Hold up. I'm sorry, man. Dallas has the ball back with 32 seconds left, but they got to go 80. I'll keep you up there.
Yeah, dude. Tension, we liked him. Defensive back at Auburn. I liked him. I thought he was he's going to Ole Miss.
Really?
Yes.
What's his last? How you spell his last name?
Tennison.
Shivers was going.
We've seen him come in and play something. I thought he played. I don't know what's going on. And of course, we know Nix is going to Oregon.
Yeah.
Nick Curtis, a linebacker, he's leaving. Now they added Calzone. We know from Calzada from Calzone. Calzada from A&M.
Hungry.
And then they swapped Bo Nix for a guy named Jason Jones, a defensive lineman. So he's from Oregon. He's coming to Auburn.
And Bixby is staying, right?
Yes, he was at practice that next week. Wide receiver Kobe Hudson's leaving. He's going to UCF. The cornerback Deshaun Milner, he's leaving. And defensive lineman Foster Allen, gone. Now, the linebacker kid, he didn't get to play much. And we already know about Truesdale. He left to go to Florida back last year. So that's kind of Auburn's who's leaving and going.
The guy who's leaving Georgia and going, and Alabama. But now Alabama does have Ricks coming in from LSU. And running back from Georgia Tech.
Yes, Georgia Tech. I don't know nothing about him.
Trey Sanders back? Which I thought Trey played admirably. He's been hurt a lot. I don't see, and they granted everybody this extra year, so everybody can come back if they want to. A lot of players can't.
I don't have him on the. It don't show him on the return or the NFL list. So.
Okay, he may not be. He seems like he's been there a while. But what about Toa? I tell you,
Toa.
in battle and Helm's coming back. Wow.
Yeah, we're
Best
high.
safeties in the country.
We're high on them. We're high on Helms.
We got a big time tight end. Latu, which I think is the second best. I think Bowers is the best.
Let me.
And I think Latu is second in the conference. Top 2 tight ends in the conference. But no. I mean, to answer your question, no, I don't. I think Georgia may win one again in a few years, but I wouldn't think next year. They lost too much.
We'll hit Twitter real quick before we go to NFL. This is just some little quick stuff here. Checking her phone. Dean's going to keep checking the score. We just mentioned Paul Tyson will be at Arizona State. The Buccaneers were 6-9 postseason games before Tom Brady. The Buccaneers are now 5-0 in postseason games with Tom Brady. Billingsley to Texas. We've already reported that. Marty Cooper had a big touchdown earlier.
And that was getting down. There's 12 seconds left. Dallas with the ball at midfield.
Hawaii State Legislature is considering a repeal of these NIL laws to help Alabama and Auburn in recruiting. Hats off to this now, guys. Around the State Sports. This is a Twitter page, and they do coaches, like assistant coaches, and they rank them. And we have Coach Little and Coach Crane. We're both on there. Dax Dunn. I know Dax from Coosa Christian. He's fun to talk to. A young coach. Got a lot of engineering at Coosa. Helps Coach O'Brien. He come in 20th. Again, you go to Around the State Sports on Twitter and check them out. Breaking, Chip Kelly had agreed to a new contract deal with UCLA for a 4-year deal, so that's in the books. We talked about them. Coach Little, I shared this Around the State Sports. Number 10, Justin Little, Cedar Bluff Tigers, your defensive coach. Kansas State with a huge win against Texas Tech team. College basketball is on one this year. A&M rallies past Missouri for 8 straight wins. First time in 31 years, Dean, Cincinnati Bengals have won a playoff game. Hoot, hoot. And Jamar Chase, most receiving yards by a rookie in NFL history, 1,571. He passed.
And they won yesterday.
Dean, he passed Randy Moss from 1998.
That's pretty good cut.
1,461. He had 1,500.
They did play an extra game, though.
That's amazing. Well,
they did play an extra game, but he might have still
110 yards difference in the two.
Hold up. Wait just a second. Okay, man, I just looked that up. He still would have beat Randy Moss.
110 yards difference with that one game.
He only had 26. But he only had 26 in that 17th game.
Coach Crane, what I just mentioned, guys, go to Twitter, Around the State Sports. Find me at Big Matt, 1977, Coach Crane, number 19 on there. Coach Crane's called offense, helped offensive line, done so much for Cedar Bluff. And we talked about the game last night. Ole Miss's Harvey Parrish enters the NCAA transfer portal.
Wow, and he is awesome. Parrish?
I don't get it, man.
I don't get that either. He was one of that 3-headed monster back there. Matt, Dallas lost.
Cowboys are out.
Yes. And we're going to hear $10 million. Oh, God, they're going to want him fired and everything. I hate that for him.
The last thing I got here, LSU has landed another. This was back a couple days ago. Transfer portal commit. Arkansas safety Joe Fauci, Louisiana Navy, is headed home to play for the Tigers. And that's all I have about that.
All right.
That's just kind of the Twitter stuff. Now, staying with college football, we've been talking about. Do our top 10. Dean, go ahead and get yours, and let's do 1 through 5, back and forth, and then we'll, you do one, I'll do one. Right, now these are our ones, and
you're going to do one, and then I'll do one.
Yeah, you can give put a little quick statement of why maybe you think.
Okay.
I did like a 3-word thing, like because of the quarterback play, because of the coaching.
Okay. All right, you want to go first?
But I got
start at 10.
No, I'll do one first. I got Bama at 1. They got lots returning. A lot of guys returning. So that's their favorite.
I'm trying not to be a homer at all. But come on, they got the best offensive player in the country. They got the best defensive player in the country. They'll have the best secondary in the country. They may have the best linebacking core in the country. Who else you going to put there? Yeah, definitely.
All right, Bama, lots of guys returning. Number 2, I got Ohio State, C.J. Stroud and Najigba. Oh, I don't need to say nothing.
And Trevion Henderson, their running back.
These guys are now the Rose Bowl. They got a lot of accolades because they won the Rose Bowl. They played Utah. Mm-hmm. Be careful with that. Don't put all your eggs in that basket because Ohio State didn't even have a full team and they played a close game.
Right.
But Utah's not good.
I've got Oh, God, you're fixing to kill me here in a minute. Ohio State, yes, I've got them number 2, obviously because of Stroud and the running back.
Yeah.
And Nick and Jigba, 347 yards receiving.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I don't see anybody better than them in Alabama.
Now,
You're not going to like my number 3.
Well, my number 3, this is kind of a toss-up. I'll make it quick. We'll let Dane move on to his terrible number 3. I don't even know what it is. I got it, but I don't know what it is. My number 3, and I'll say this because of quarterback play, they got to transfer, and they're going to have a way better defense. The number 1 recruiting class, the best recruiting class ever in college football, actually about 50 points higher than Alabama's best recruiting class ever. Like, we're talking about the best recruiting class ever in college football. Texas A&M Aggies.
Okay, wait a second. I'm changing some stuff here. Hold on.
Number 3.
My number 3 is the Clemson Tigers.
Okay.
I think they will be back
They'll be
with a
better.
vengeance.
They got to be better. They can't be worse. Good God, man.
Well, that's what I saw today. Somebody's like, everybody's talking like Clemson's terrible, but they went 10-3. They did play a lot better towards the end of the year. I just think they'll be back in it. Now, I'm not saying that they'll finish in the top 3, but preseason, their quarterback
That's
back,
not bad.
they got their running backs back.
I ain't mad about that one. I thought you was going to say Utah. I was like, oh, my God, please don't.
No, I got Utah in the top 10, but not that high.
My number 4 is Georgia. And for those reasons we just talked about, I'm just putting them in there because they are a championship team, and as long as you're the champ, which they're not the champ starting next season, because that trophy will remain in Athens forever and ever and ever. You're not defending the national championship. This is not boxing. You don't lose the belt if you lose. So Georgia, you're 21 national champs, and I got Bennett ? So I don't know if he's coming back. As of 2 days ago, he was. So, but we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where he's going to go besides work at a bank or something. I mean, I don't think he's going to NFL.
I think he'll just. This is what I think will happen with Stetson Bennett. I think he will go be a coach somewhere. He may end up even be a college coach.
Who was your 4?
My number 4 is Oklahoma State. From what I've read, Oklahoma State had a very good year, and they also have their quarterback back, who is also very good. They beat Notre Dame in the bowl game.
Yes, they did. Good game. I enjoyed that game. I got Clemson at my 5 spot.
Okay.
QB play ? Now I do have. This is the question. They have a defensive coach at Oklahoma, and their offensive coach is at Virginia. So they got to fill shoes for both coordinators.
Right.
That's the problem. And that I was a little reluctant to put them at 5, but I don't know who else I could put. When you go down from 6 through 10, I'm going to let you go 6 through 10 and talk about that. Then I'll do my 6 through 10.
Okay. And
then we'll have honorable mention if you like one. But Clemson, I don't know, Dean. Losing all your coaches, that's tough.
It is. My number 5, Matt, is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They got a lot coming back, but now I did hear they got a very tough schedule. But I mean, from what I've read today, I'm gonna have to put them at 5.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish the 10 there.
You go 6 through 10.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna come back to you. All right, number 6, I got Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Number 7, Baylor. I think Baylor's gonna be very good. They were good this year.
They won a bowl game because Matt Corral didn't play.
Matt Corral didn't play, right?
That's the only reason they won that game.
But they've got a lot coming back. I've got Utah with a lot coming back again.
They do.
At number 8.
Their quarterback's back, and they have some electric playmakers. And out there, they'll play good in the Pac-12. I mean, they're not going to come out here and beat Georgia or Alabama.
I don't think so. I got Georgia number 9. Now, I know that's a long way from the top, but come on, guys. They lost a lot of players.
9 seniors on defense and 6 on offense.
Yeah, that's a lot to overcome. And my number 10, and this is mostly because of their quarterback and the improvement they've had over the last couple of years, is Arkansas Razorbacks.
We love Coach Pittman. He was our coach of the year. The Big Diamond coach of the year was Sam Pittman from Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
We like what he does. He's a player's coach. The kids love him. My 6 through 10, I'm going to mention a team here that you may agree with. 6, I got Michigan. You got McNamara and McCarthy. They're going to fight it out for the QB spot. We're questioning if Harbaugh's going to stay. There's the job opening at Jacksonville. And O'Brien did interview for that job the other day. Number 7, I got Arkansas. Why not? Jefferson is back. I mean, how could you not have them in your top 7 or 8? I got Notre Dame, the linebacker, Adaloya, and Joseph, the defensive back. He had 9 picks this year.
9?
And I like their play.
Wow.
The coach is Sam Pittman of the North. He's a player's coach. They love him. I mean, they just pick him up and rally him off the field. And yeah, he does a good.
Yeah.
I think the players like him. I think they'll play for him. And Notre Dame's schedule's always cushy. It's always
I don't
easy.
think it is this year.
It's the same. I mean, they're locked in for 50 years. They're going to have my next team, number 9. It'll be a good game this year. Pay attention. They got a guy, their new defense coordinator, Grinch. He's going to make a difference out there. And you have a new head coach, Lincoln Riley. I got
I nearly put them there. I'll get to that in a minute. They're my honorable mention.
I got USC at 9.
Yes.
I don't know what's going to happen. He's going to have to pull some recruits because there's kids in that state that can play.
I agree with that. That's a good.
He's got to go out and start. Hey, I'm Lincoln Riley. Nice to meet you. Here's my new defense coordinator, Coach Grinch. Just watch.
I think they're going to be better.
Ohio State 2, USC 9. I think you're going to see those teams get back in. I think it's good for football for the Pac-12 to get back in this and the West Coast to start playing. We got to get away from politics and a sickness that's going around right now that has demolished their football programs. It has crushed it.
Right.
Because of politics. Number 10, Oregon. Hey, 2 words, dude. Bo Nix. You don't think Bo Nix can succeed in the Pac-12?
I would think so.
I think he played pretty good out here. I know the Auburn fans don't like him, and y'all run him out of town on a hot blazing pitchfork. And I'm not even.
Well, that's why he left.
I'm not even an Auburn fan, but I could see why he would leave. They just can constantly.
But I mean, you get me 43-37. You're on Facebook talking about him.
They berate him constantly. If he lost the game, that's his fault.
Our local business owner over here, I mean, talking about all these interceptions. He threw 7, dude. Watch football.
The whole year. And beat Alabama his freshman year out there.
You don't know nothing.
So I had Oregon at 10. 2 words. Again, Bo Nix. I think Oregon's going to play well. Got a new coach, Latham from Georgia, their defensive coach. So we'll see how that works out. My honorable mention is here's 3 words for you.
What?
Levis is back, and their wide receiver Robinson.
I agree. That is a good honorable mention.
And Coach Stoops is
nearly put him in the top.
I did too, but I liked Oregon because of.
I want to do another. I got USC 11, Kentucky 12. Who you got 12? Think you have 12. That's a good top 12. We're doing a top 12. We move to 12.
A 12 I would do. Yeah, we probably need to because there's going to be 12-team playoff next. Not this season, but next.
Okay, so I got Kentucky 12, USC 11.
Maybe Wake Forest.
Wake Forest is considered a top 12 team.
I would say Wake. They bring a lot of the kids back.
Oh, they were good.
They played well, and there's runner-ups, and I think Clemson beat them pretty good, didn't they?
Clemson beat them bad.
So
that was the only game they lost.
Yeah, I think Clemson got in their head, and they come out to a bad start. So Kentucky 11 and 12 will be. Now,
Matt, which I'm not ranking.
Wake Forest.
We got our top 12. Some other teams I think will fill out the top 25 will be Ole Miss, Pitt. Let me think here. I'm trying to think. Ole Miss, Pitt, Penn State, obviously, Iowa. I think that Florida will be better.
Yeah, I'm going to put Florida. I'm just writing these down as you talk.
I'm not putting them in any.
I'll say I put them in order just as just for a crap game.
Yeah.
I had Oregon at 10, but I could probably see maybe Florida at 16.
Michigan State, I think.
Michigan State, they're going to be 15 or 16. They're going to be around there with Florida.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody.
Florida's depending on that quarterback play, man. They don't have a quarterback.
Auburn will be a top 20.
They don't have a quarterback.
Maybe Auburn will be a top 25.
That'll probably be 25. I just mentioned
I expect Texas
who they're losing, and Sark now they're getting a quarterback, and they're getting a tight end from Alabama.
Oklahoma.
They'll be 20, probably 20, 21.
Yeah.
They'll be down there in that 17 with Oklahoma State. For me, Oklahoma State's about a 13 to 15.
Okay, I got to ask one question. Just play devil's advocate here, not because he's our buddy. Nebraska went 3-9, but they were considered the best and toughest 3-9 in college football history. All 9 games they lost were by less than 10 points. Is there any way they slip in this top 25 at some point? Do they start turning those games into wins?
This is going to be the year, man. I know the frost effect is in full effect and the frost warning is on. It's not frost warning anymore. I just...
You think it's hot seat time?
I don't see it any changing. If you cannot... Listen, let me tell you something. You guess who spent 3 times the money in football? The largest jump in FBS money. Like if they spent $6 million last year, they spent $18 million this year. Guess who that was? The largest jump.
Who?
Who would you guess?
Nebraska?
No.
Alabama?
No.
Okay, then say the question. Ask me the question.
The largest jump in money spent for their football program. The largest jump in FBS. I think it was 3 times. They went from like $10 million to $30 million.
I have no idea.
You national champions.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
If you ain't going to spend the money, get out of the way because you got to recruit. Mm-hmm. He's got to sell the idea that Omaha, Nebraska is the place to play football, and there ain't nowhere else in the world that you want to play except in Nebraska. And you got to stop selling this old-timey 1976 stuff and how great they were. Stop it.
Well,
that's dead. Alabama.
If they come back.
Alabama don't sell Gene Stallings. They sell this coming year, guys. We lost national championship, and you can see what happened. We had some young guys out there in the field. We just wasn't deep enough. Bama lost because of experience. Well, Bama don't. I heard this too. Bama just reloads, and they don't just come out there and they refile with 5-star athletes out there. No, that word reload is a word created.
You gotta have experience.
That word reload was created by the media of idiots like Danny Cannell. Like this idiot that's excited about a 16-team playoff. He can't wait for wild card Saturday for college football. That's what he talks about. He's insane.
4 extra games.
He's insane. This is the kind of stuff they talk about. So my point is the reloading and the experience. Bama lost because they didn't have experience on the field. Georgia did. 9 seniors on defense, 5 or 6 on offense. That's why. Nebraska, if you want to get in the game, you got to spend a lot of money. Yeah. You got to do something. Stop selling 1979 national champions.
Yeah, when they were great in the 90s, which is
nobody alive playing football in high school has a clue what you're talking about. These kids that you're going to recruit, the team that won the national championship the years they were born would have been Oklahoma or somebody like 2002 to 2005.
Right. Nebraska won theirs in
Florida's
95, 97.
But most of these kids you're recruiting, guess who they've seen win national championship after championship? They've seen Alabama, Ohio State, Florida, Auburn. Auburn played for another. Alabama, LSU, Clemson, Alabama.
Yeah.
That's what they've seen. That's what this class has grown up seeing. So, Coach Frost, if you're listening, I know he watches the show religiously. I think he's on our podcast. He listens pretty regularly. You got to spend money. It's not that complicated, but it's just going to be a hard sell.
Yeah.
Because why would you not want to come to play at Alabama or Georgia?
Right.
You want that ring, what you just talked about. Why do kids come? You don't understand why. Kids want to come get that ring.
I don't know. 30 years ago, people just wanted to play something.
It's different. And now you got these NIL deals and all this stuff going on. Who wants to do an NIL deal for Larry's used cars in Omaha, Nebraska? Who?
I mean, and I'm going to use this as an example, but I was coaching basketball one year, and we had a varsity team, and we had a JV team. And a varsity player comes up to me, and this is why I say that I believe kids just really want to play. And I said, you're not very unhappy, aren't you? He goes, yeah, I'm tired of riding the bench. I said, you be willing to play JV? He goes, yeah, I just want to be on the floor.
Yeah.
But that was a long time ago. Maybe kids aren't like that now.
It's just different now.
He didn't care what nobody thought. He didn't care what nobody said in the stands.
He just wanted to play.
He just wanted to play.
Now, what was the final? We'll go to NFL. We'll rock this out. What was the final there? I had 49ers picked to win. The final was
23-17.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, that's going to be bad.
Cowboys are out The Eagles are out. Bucks win. Tom Brady threw 271 yards, Dean 2 touchdowns. Evans had 117. Gronk even had a touchdown. Josh Sweat was out for the Eagles. He carried 7.5 sacks for that team. He did not play. That's your NFC wild card. 31-15 on that one. The Bills win. We talked about that. 47-17. Coach Belichick said he's not leaving to go nowhere. He's 70, and he's still interested in coaching football. Mac was 24 for 38, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Josh Allen, 5 touchdowns, a 99 QBR rating for the day, 21 for 35. That's just about it. Right now, guys, go over and check out
the Bengals.
Check out the Steelers and the Chiefs. They're fixing to kick it off.
And tomorrow night, somebody plays. Cardinals and Rams. The Rams are favored by 12-5. Rams are favored by 3.5. They play on ESPN and ABC at 7:15. That's your NFC. 11-6 Cardinals versus the 12-5 Rams. And the Bengals, as mentioned earlier, I threw a tweet out there earlier. The first time, like in ever, Joe Burrow carries the Bengals to the playoffs. That was the first. That was the first win in a playoff game in
30 years.
30
years.
I think Icky Woods and them played.
I do remember Icky Woods, the Icky Shuffle.
Well, Icky Wood, Boomer Esiason, and I don't know if Icky played on the last team they had to win a playoff game.
I don't think so.
You know, Icky only played about a year or two.
Yes.
He may be the most famous player ever. And people don't realize this. Icky Woods played 1 year, guys. He got hurt the second year and never played again. He may be the most popular.
It was a dance. 1
year player. He had a great year.
I think that's it, man. January 22nd, division playoff. Division, not wild card, division games to play. The 16th, next Friday, I guess. So next weekend, you'll start seeing some divisional NFL plays.
We've had the Bengals, Bills advance, and the Buccaneers, and the 49ers.
But the Chiefs and them are playing
Chiefs and
right now.
Pittsburgh.
I think they're kicking.
Chiefs are heavily favored.
They're kicking now. Yeah,
but you know that don't mean nothing. They're not heavily favored. Oh yes, they're playing right now. They started 7:15.
Who did I say? Who was we talking about?
Chiefs.
Oh yes. Yeah, the Chiefs are favored in that game. That'll be on. They're kicking off now. Then tomorrow, the Rams they're favored by 3.5.